Questions?
What brings you back to Chicago?
Well,
You've seen the world. Why?
well, to be honest with you, it was 9/11. I was there during that time, and it ripped my pockets out. And obviously, just New York wasn't New York anymore. And things happen for a reason, so I knew I needed to come back in and do more work also too. My idea is to create create more sacred spaces, to create a venue or something like that, or to engage people, because it's like, I feel like it's lost, right? Keep going back to that. And I think that my job is not complete, so I felt the need to come back here. Next.
Hey, how's it going?
Yes, sir.
You spoke earlier about how things are taken out of context. I was wondering, how do you feel about how the narrative of where house originated? Like, sometimes there's friendly arguments between Chicago and Detroit, but then when they have exposés on DJs from various places in Europe, they talk about how they introduced house to America. How do you feel about that narrative being?
I haven't heard that. Would be wild as shit if they said that. But you never know. I mean, that's the thing that that's a conversation that I have quite a bit with a lot of my guys, is that, or just a lot of artists and sharing. We talk about the fact that our music and our culture is being compromised. It's being redefined. Somebody else is trying to write the narrative. The thing is that a lot of these other places, they have strong media presence, so they write the stories. One thing that was pointed out to me by my agent was the fact that, he said, if you notice that the English market is very powerful in terms of media, because everybody understands English. So when they say something, people believe it. And so, even though London has a very powerful scene, has been put out great music and that kind of thing, this is US-based music. This started here, on the streets of Chicago, on the streets of New York, on the streets of Detroit, right? So, for me, it's like nonsense. And I've definitely got into, not so much like heated arguments with people, but I've been very militant about, making sure that they understand where this shit comes from, which is why I'm still here doing what I'm doing. Why I came back to Chicago. Yeah.
Right here for you. So obviously you mentioned before that house music was for the weirdos, it was for the outcasts. So when you were coming up, I imagine that there was a lot of rejection and things like that. So what would you consider your biggest struggle as you really dedicated yourself to performing this new genre, this new type of art, and how did you overcome it?
Well, first off, this music was considered to be a gay music, especially, urban kid in Chicago. It was considered gay music. Mr. Williams opened the club to be a gay venue, but there was a need for that. There was a need for the sacred space. There was a need for people to go into a world outside of the world and be together and find people of like minds and, same wavelengths as them. And for me, I don't know, I never really was a follower to that degree. I learn from people, but I have a mind of my own. So once I put my head on that this is what I wanted to do, or this is what, plus I knew it was dope. Because they were listening to far greater music, they were into fashion and all that. Y'all was like, goofy motherfuckers, y'all don't know what y'all missing. This is the real party. So for me, it was just more or less that I made a decision, to be a part of that culture. And, you also have to have an open mind, too. A lot of people are caught up in conformity, and what people tell them they're supposed to do. And that's why they get lost. That goes back to the lost thing. They get lost, but then sometimes you need to lose yourself to find yourself, too, which is sometimes what we do in our creative process, but also to maybe in the process of discovery, you'll find something new. And so, combination of those things, you know. At first it was scary, and definitely, you know, having to deal with the neighborhood and how people looked at how you were dressing, because they knew, like, why you got that shit on? What is that? That's weird. You're weird, you know. You had to also be willing to fight, if necessary, because he was that serious. Because people try to rob you, you know, because they think you're gay or whatever the case may be, or they would just try to demean you. And so it's really just having conviction of what it is that you want to do. That's all that really matters at the end of the day anyway. You know, when you go to meet the Creator, none of these people are gonna be with you anyway. Do what you gotta do. So, hope that answers your question a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it? Okay. Well, I guess that's it. I wish I had more time. Thank you for inviting me out. Hope you got a little bit of information.